Another week of the SEC on CBS brings another heated rivalry. This time, the Magnolia Bowl. LSU battles Ole Miss with Death Valley playing host. The Rebels have not won in Baton Rouge since 2008. They did come awfully close the last time they played in Tiger Stadium, but Keyshawn Butte had other plans. Touchdown, Tigers! And the bad news for Ole Miss, Butte is still wearing the purple and gold. But this year's matchup is a massive game for both programs, albeit for different reasons. Lane Kiffin's high-flying Rebels have hopes of crashing the college football playoff, an accomplishment that would see both him and his swagger forever immortalized in Oxford. But for that to even remain a remote possibility, he knows his team must take care of business in Baton Rouge.
We played really well on the road. Obviously, this is a different animal, and it'll be very challenging.
On the other side, Brian Kelly is still working to gain the trust of the Louisiana faithful in his first year running LSU's program. But that task got a whole lot easier with wins now against two rivals, Auburn and most recently, Florida.
Excited to be at home. I know our guys want to play well at home before our home fans.
Les Miles famously dubbed Tiger Stadium the place where opponents' dreams come to die after an upset win of then number 3 and undefeated Ole Miss back in 2014. Does that sound familiar? So, will history repeat itself? Or can the Lane train keep rolling? It's another College Football Saturday, live from Death Valley on CBS.
Let's welcome an SEC on CBS sideline reporter, our good friend, Jenny Dell. Jenny, we're going to talk about Saturday, Ole Miss at LSU, but first, we need a welfare check because on social media on Saturday, there was a lot of concern for your well-being, being in the middle of all of those Tennessee fans. Are you okay? Like, you came away unscathed. We're good here.
I am good. It was a little scary, honestly. I stayed right by my camera crew and I had a security guard and I knew that I had to get to Coach Heupel like ASAP or that I was going to lose him. And after that interview, my producer said, all right, well, we need to get Jalen Hyatt. And I said, I don't even see any players. He was like, just get off the field. Just be safe because this is just a dangerous situation now. So I got off the field right to watch right in front of me the goalposts coming down with all the fans. It was wild.
Well, and thankfully, it didn't come down on top of your head, so that's good. And you got the cigars. It was great. Okay, so let's talk about Saturday. Maybe we'll see a scene like that. Probably not, because that was one for the record books. Ole Miss at LSU. Ole Miss going into this one undefeated. I think it's like the best start to their season since 1960 or something like that. But talk about this Ole Miss Rebels offense because it's very versatile. I mean, one week you see it on the ground, the next week you see it in the air. Is that the key to this offense right now?
I think it is. And you look at their numbers, they had 578 total yards against Auburn, 591 against Vanderbilt the week before. And they have just been clicking on all cylinders. And what's working for them is something different each week. So even Jackson Dart came out and he said, we're sticking to what's working. So they couldn't stop our running game last week. And we put it on our O-line shoulders and we were able to find success in our rushing attack. And then the week before, it was all through the air. So Lane Kiffin even came out and he said, I'm so confident in this offense because each game, every week, it's just independent. Every game, we have a different plan. And it just shows that we're so versatile in our offense. And I feel like that's what's making this run so well.
So a lot of focus on the offense, though, but this defense doesn't need to be overlooked either.
No, absolutely not. And you look at that game, and I think when people kind of look at their schedule so far, it's really that Kentucky game that people have zoned in on as where there was a little bit of a challenge, which is why they're about to go into a really tough stretch of their season. But their defense put them in that game and ultimately got them the win in the fourth quarter. And they were exposed a little bit in last week's game against Auburn. Now, safety A.J. Finley, he said that their play calling has been much more aggressive this season. And when Brian Kelly was asked about the Ole Miss D, he said it's hard to know exactly where they're going to line up all the time. So our guys just have to be on it. Our quarterback has to slide the right way. Our backs, they have to go coast to coast in some of the read progressions there. They know they have a challenge ahead of them with this Ole Miss defense. So that's the biggest thing for them, I feel like, is going to be taking care of the football.
Let's talk about this LSU offense we're going to see on Saturday. You have General Booty, and it's Booty at Oklahoma there.
Booty.
And then, yes, we have Keyshawn Booty. You were telling me this is exactly how you say it, emphasis on the boo. But he hadn't had this season, and he's coming off some injuries and stuff like that anybody had really expected up until thus far. However, the last game, we're starting to see that connection with him and Daniels. I mean, how special is that for this LSU offense?
It's something that they've been working on, since the start of the season. You really got to finally see them find some success last week. He didn't have more than 42 receiving yards in a game until last week, and then he comes out and has 115 against Florida. Brian Kelly said that Jaden Daniels, and Booty have been working really hard in practice, trying to build up that relationship. In last week's game, they finally found each other, which sounds kind of like a romance novel in some way. But they made some big plays. And Kelly said, I think this was the first time all year that our best players really stepped up to that level. But something to keep an eye on. LSU has looked for Booty much more on first and second down, more than they have on third and fourth down. So just something to watch out for when we're looking at this upcoming game.
Football is romantic down in Baton Rouge.
It is.
I mean,
right?
you add a side of gumbo or jambalaya or something like that. That's a full-blown romance novel. Okay, so Ole Miss coming into this undefeated. They're 7-0 right now. LSU 5-2, first season under Brian Kelly. If they were to get the win on Saturday, how big would that be for this LSU Tigers team?
I mean, I think it's going to be huge. There's a lot of challenging games coming up on the schedule, and something that we need to point out is it's homecoming for LSU. So it's going to be a fun one. They've won 4 straight homecoming games, 20 of their last 21, and they're looking to avoid consecutive home losses for just the second time in the last 21 years. So Brian Kelly said one thing about this team, though, is they never give up. He referenced last week's win. He said, there's that saying in golf that there's no picture on the scorecard. It's just what you score, if you win or if you lose. So they've won 6 straight at home against Ole Miss. So the numbers clearly on their side, but a win against an undefeated team, I mean, that definitely helps. And the SEC is so open right now that, any win against a ranked team is going to just skyrocket you.
You and I have been friends for 3 years. And I don't know, have you done a game at Tiger Stadium yet?
No, I'm so excited. I've just heard all about it. No, this is my first.
Please bring me back some food from a tailgate. That is on my bucket list, is like an LSU tailgate just for the food. Okay, Ole Miss, they're looking at their first 8-0 start since 1962. How confident are they that they can get this done in a very tough atmosphere?
I think it's interesting when you kind of look at Ole Miss and their season as a whole. There's almost been so much focus on what Tennessee is doing that I feel like Ole Miss and the SEC is kind of just like flown under the radar a little bit. So I feel like this is going to be one of those statement games where if they can come out and they can come out strong in a really tough environment, it might help their program as far as the fans' view go. I know the ranking committee, they're obviously looking at what they're doing each and every week. But like you said, they have an opportunity to go 8-0 for the first time since 1962. That was also the last time that they won a national championship there. And you look at this team, 45% of this Rebels roster are newcomers. This is their first season at Ole Miss. So they've really put together such a talented squad. And you mentioned the atmosphere and the energy that's going to be going on there. Lane Kiffin said, and we heard it before with Chip Patterson, he said, our guys have played so well on the road. Obviously, LSU is a different animal. So our guys, they need to stay focused and just feed into the crowd noise and try and find some success there. So their offense is on fire right now. Their defense just needs to contain Jaden Daniels. And if that happens, I feel like Ole Miss is going to be the winner of this game.
I like that message. And a lot of great players will tell you, look, I almost like road games more than home games because I feed off that energy. I hope you can feed on some very good Cajun food. Just please bring me back some. I'm so hungry right now. Jenny Dell, safe travels down to Baton Rouge. We can't wait to watch you on the sideline there. Good luck. Stay safe. Hopefully we won't see the same scene as we saw when it came to Tennessee there. The SEC on CBS, number 7, the Ole Miss Rebels, undefeated right now. 7-0, traveling to LSU Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on CBS. You can also catch it on Paramount Plus.